No, I don't.
And then just download that afterwards, and then do an edit for YouTube.
Oh, that's smart. All right, you guys ready?
No.
Yep, we're ready.
Yep.
All right, what do you want to do? You want
Ready
to
when you are.
do Stoned Avengers Informer? Either one of those?
Sure.
All right, Stoned Avengers it is.
We are the Stone Avengers. We do not cock block, no. What I'm saying, we've been fighting, player hating. Come on, you shot, yeah. Bust fat nuts, I'll plant my seed, cause we don't want no tease. Guess it's just the Stone Avenger and me, the Stone American people. Breathe the weed, hump your girlfriend, stay out of trouble. Don't do crime, crime doesn't pay. Unless you're selling dope, then sell me a sack of tweed, and we'll all get high, yeah. We'll all get high. Yes, we'll all get high.
All right, I think that's a good little way to start our night.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, everybody, even you foreigners that don't ever respond and just sit there and watch it in silence.
Hello.
Hello. So here we are. Let's see, Grant's here with me. How you doing?
Yeah, good bud. And yourself? It feels like it's been forever since we've been on stream, so it's
Man, it's so long.
good to finally get back on one.
Dude, I thought we had a great time on the dump.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think we were bouncing off each other quite well.
Hold on real quick. Look, Kai and I talked about this, all right? I can't wait. He does it every night for 9 hours. I can't wait not to step on him. So he knows I'm here. What's up, Sentient? Sam is with us.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. Nick?
Hello. How's everything going on your side of the pond?
Good. I made Culture spit his drink all over the computer. That was nice.
Oh no.
That was highlight of my day. You guys see the Obi-Wan?
Yes,
actually.
I have.
Yeah, what do you think?
I released a video on it.
I know, it was a good one.
Yeah, we all watched it together.
Suffice it to say, I'm really getting over the whole desert planet thing. Every Star Wars property is starting to look the same. Boba Fett, Mandalorian, they're all starting to look the same now.
Well, yeah, but this is the one that it actually makes sense for it to be there. Because, Luke.
Perhaps, but I'm still not sold.
It makes sense of why it takes place there, but I got a feeling it's going to be a lot like The Witcher. In where he is just a MacGuffin for everyone. Getting one point to another. But anyway.
Yeah, who's only tangentially related to the plot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys watching anything good? Have you all started watching Dances with Wolves? Jesus.
Raised by Wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a couple of episodes in. I like it. It's very Ridley Scott.
It's very Ridley Scott.
Mm.
Even when he's not direct, because he doesn't direct all the episodes, But even when he's not directing, you still have that feel.
No, but I like it so far. We're only a couple of episodes in, so no spoilers or anything. But yeah, we like it so far.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the first season can be a little slow, but if you're into what Ridley's doing, you'll like it. Second season is just bananas, bro.
I'm not really bothered by slow burns or anything, so that never really bothers me that much.
Pardon me.
We watched Heat from the 1995. Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro.
It's good.
Dude, have you two not seen this?
But no spoilers. It's still very new. It's nearly 30 years old.
Nick, Sam, have y'all seen Heat?
That's a very good question.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen
which
it.
one it is.
Wow, dude, what are y'all doing on YouTube? Yo, it's Michael. It's a Michael Mann written and directed film, right? It has one of the best shootouts on film. Legit is their bounding and Overwatch is perfect. Just it's in the middle of so it's Los Angeles, right? So the score cuts out as soon as they start firing. So all you hear is just that huge echo from every round, goes da da da, and it just lingers because of all the buildings. Oh, it's so fucking good, man. It's probably about 3 hours long, and it moves at such a great pace. It's not it's not action either,
Yeah, I can
dude.
say
It's a
it's not
lot
like it's
about
an action film though. That shootout scene in the once they
Yeah.
come out of the bank and everything is probably about
Yeah.
10
It
minutes
might
long.
be.
I'd say.
It says it's on Netflix, but I'm not sure if we've got it here.
You see, there are different versions of Netflix, which is a
Yeah.
pain
We have
in
the
the
good
ass.
one.
But anyway,
What's up, Tom? We're gonna talk about Heat.
Hello, Tom.
Yeah, so dude, it's really good. What
It
was
might be on
funny was
Binge.
like
Might be able to find it on Binge.
we tried to watch that new Kingsman, and I paused it at like 35 minutes. I'm like, holy fuck, I thought it's been 2 hours. And
So-
last night, dude, I paused it. I don't know where I was, but I'm like, wow, this moves so much better, has such a better pace than that Kingsman movie.
I never really had any issue with pacing of it. I just didn't like it.
Well, yeah, these two are only 3 episodes in. Can't really talk about Raised by Wolves, and they've never seen Heat. So I am now trying to convince them to watch it. It's really good.
Yeah, like I said, in the previous, well, one of the previous speakeasies, you're gonna have to write us a long list of movies for us to watch.
Yeah, I have a
And
list.
we're
I'm
gonna,
gonna
and we're
add
gonna
that
have
now.
to, tick them off.
I have a list, but it may be filled with all the bad movies that
No matter, just send a big list.
All right.
See, I've been recently trying to find all the movies that I know are bad, but I loved when I was a kid.
such as
I don't know if you've seen the movie called The Chase
Oh, with
The
Charlie
Chase.
Sheen?
with Charlie Sheen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially it's a film about essentially Munchausen syndrome. It's the easiest way. Oh no, not Munchausen, which is the one where they fall in love with their captors.
Stockholm?
Stockholm syndrome. It's essentially Stockholm syndrome mixed in with a high-speed chase.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. That
know what's-
also includes a sex scene while driving.
You know what's another good one like that? Not like that, but like I don't know why it makes me think of it, but the Big Hit with Mocky Mock and Christina Apple what is it, Christina? Applegate? Appleby? What's her name?
Yeah,
Married with
Applegate.
Children?
Applegate, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a John Woo movie, and it's all John Woo. Like it is everything you think of John Woo. You know, it's fantastic. It's
The Big
bananas.
Hit. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
got what's his name in it as well? Oh my god, I can't even think of his fucking name now. Yep. Never mind, I'll get back to you on it. It's something I watched like literally the other day.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's a good one, dude. That whole time, like, right. I mean, those movies are crazy, dude. I'm looking for my notes right quick.
Oh,
on
Lou
movies.
Diamond-Phillips.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep.
From Young Guns.
Yep.
Could not get through Young Guns 2. I made it 15 minutes, turned it off. I was like, oh, that's not as good as the first one. First one
It
holds
had
up.
more people in it. So that usually makes it better.
All right. I got a little bit of a list here I can send to you guys. War on Everyone. I think I may be the only person that's seen War on Everyone with Michael Pena and the Skarsgård, the True Blood one.
It was the one that came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's really good,
Yeah.
dude. Dude, I want to do a video talking about a lot of the behind the scenes stuff on Miami Vice, the Michael Mann movie.
Oh, okay.
Because-
I thought you meant the series.
Yeah, I read an article about it, and dude, that shit oh man, it was crazy. Not to the level of like, the island of Dr. Monroe where have y'all seen that?
Yeah, fucking.
Oh,
I mean, let's just say if you give Brando a lot of money and a lot of wine, and he doesn't have to read a script, you're gonna have a very fun time trying to film something.
oh man, listen.
I mean, this is the man who said to Richard Donner when asked when he said he's playing Zod, he wants to play him like a suitcase.
What? That
That's
makes
what
no
he said.
freaking sense. Oh god.
And Richard Donner's like, no, and he's like, but that's how I'm gonna play him. And it's like, one, what does that mean? And two, no, you're not.
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
He wanted to play Jor-El. like as if he was a suitcase.
Who was this?
Brando.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Like he didn't even read the script, man.
No, but I'm saying this
everything
was in Superman. Like this is.
Oh.
Well, I'm saying when you hire the guy that everyone knew did that, and then you give him a lot of alcohol and free reign to do whatever he wants.
Well, that's the thing. If you give him lots of alcohol, he might actually start making sense. You never know.
Yeah.
Dude, like everything in that movie was so that his double, his whatever could like his stand-in and whatever could do most of it. Like he's like, no, my guy would have white face on. He would have, because of the sun. He's allergic to the sun. Give me a moo-moo.
Yeah, it's like that sort of shit that Dildo said. That's kind of like what he'd be like, except that he'd be like, no, I am the script.
Yeah. No, he would have an earpiece in, and they would feed him the lines.
And then get local traffic reports and weather.
That's right. He would be doing a scene like, there's a robbery in progress at this 7-Eleven. That's what you said.
Yeah, there you go, something like that. Yeah, I knew it was something along those lines.
Hey Kai, how's it going?
Hi Kai.
Hey Kai. Oh, cool, Kai. Thanks. I can send an invite, bro. Yeah, he does make a good point about aliens. We have this idea of it's going to be this bipedal, like humanoid looking thing.
Convergent evolution.
Yeah, but on the other hand, though, it has to have at least like the ability, like opposable like thumbs, so it can make things, right?
Not unless it's got like a lot of talons, then we're all fucked.
Maybe it uses its mind.
Only the little greys do that one.
What's your favorite alien?
Whatever Mac out of Mac and Me was.
Good question.
Dude, are you sorry? I think you're right. Get that thing.
All right, you do it.
No, you do it. I'm stepping away. All right, Scott, man, why are you still letting that man upset you? My God.
You tell me where the 80-year-old man touched you.
Hey Scott, how's it going?
Hey Scott.
Man, I'm telling you, man, the more that people harass him to finish that book, he's not gonna want to, dude.
He's the type of guy that would deliberately
give himself a heart
attack.
If someone was up, put it this way, if someone was up my ass all day and every day to get a book done,
right?
You best believe, out of spite, because I am that type of person, out of spite, I would deliberately not finish it. Or
hell yeah.
Or dig in my heels.
It'd be hard when someone's in your
or
ass,
indeed, I would finish it, but would deliberately withhold it.
Dude, yeah, I would too. I would write it all in the back of the empty pizza boxes. He has strung around everywhere.
See, it's my theory.
Yeah,
it's
but
my
deliberately
theory that
put
George
them out of
R.
order.
Martin's, he's finished everything. It's just taking forever to edit.
I disagree, dude. I think that after what happened with that season 8 or whatever, he doesn't care. He's not motivated. That dude straight up said like, "I feel sorry for you."
Well,
to the
in
fans
many ways,
that have been waiting.
Let's be honest. After the reaction every fan of the show basically had. Let's be honest. I assume we were all fans of the show here at some point.
Yeah.
And I think, can you remember how disappointed we were, right? Can you imagine how crushing that must have been for him?
Look, he shouldn't have given him
that
much control.
That's what I said. All our enthusiasm disappeared like that. I mean, it's not a big leap to assume that something similar might have happened to him.
Yeah, not at all, dude. Because like he, you know what I mean. Like one, he's gonna have a hard time getting away with kind of some of the things that he would write about. You know what I mean? Because like the first woman that has anything negative happen to her in that book, oh, they're coming after him.
Yeah, because you've also got to remember this is the same guy that wrote the story of Khaleesi about a 13-year-old girl who was essentially raped by a 30-year-old bloke and then fell in love with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this
and
was
like when Robin that was killed, he wasn't even 18 at the time.
Bit of chronological relativism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably can look around.
But look, I feel the same way, like with all the dodgy stuff, like with all the dodgy stuff. It's like I'm in the middle of The Mists of Avalon at the moment by Marion Zimmer Bradley.
Mm.
And Marion Zimmer Bradley's husband was a convicted pedophile. And there was even some speculation that Marion Zimmer Bradley was in on child abuse herself. So there's all of this dark, horrible stuff going around about the author, at least since 2014. And it's a question of, can you separate the art from the artist? And I think,
I mean, if you were to look at her and then look at her husband, you'd look at her and go, "Yeah, that was the pedophile." She has a look.
Yeah, yeah. But even so, like as I said, for the book in and of itself, like, oh sure, there's some, it's a bit raunchy in places, but the book itself is absolutely fine. It's only the author who is an absolute monster. And in the case of, dodgy stuff that, say, the current woke climate with all that shit that's going around at the moment, anything that George R. R. Martin puts out is likely to get some backlash as well, because it's ridiculous. I mean, people don't know how to separate the art from the artist anymore. I mean, to
It's
use a
easy.
really
I
to
mean,
use a
she's
real
dead,
basic
so
bitch example, you've only got to look at the crap that's going around about J.K. Rowling.
Oh no, what
no,
happened?
her name's the author.
Yeah, it's like whatever you think of the Harry Potter series, everyone, or most everyone, not everyone, but everyone on Twitter, or every wanker on Twitter, basically hates her guts. And in my opinion, she's done nothing wrong, but that's just my perspective.
Well, that's
But yeah,
because you're
it's
a
just
turf
like,
too, aren't you,
and you
Sam?
get some people who can't separate the art from the artist, and some people who can.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get it with certain things. Like, I'm not gonna watch or anything that Roman Polanski had anything to do with. And I think it's not just because of the fact that he's still a wanted pedophile. It's the fact that everyone didn't care. It was no, he's got warrants, and yet they still gave him standing ovations at all these award shows. So they normalized that.
Yeah.
So,
and I have to just add as well, just for Tina's benefit, I do like Marion Zimmer Bradley's work as well. And on the plus side,
which is your favorite Lady of Avalon or Miss of it? Is it Lady of Avalon?
I actually like Miss. I like the first one.
The first one.
Anyway, even so, just so no one feels too badly, I mean, Marion Zimmer Bradley is now dead. Her husband is now dead. And also, any proceeds from the book aren't going to her. So you're not actually endorsing her. Any proceeds from the book are now going to save the children. So it's for a good cause.
Because it was going to go to her daughter, but she's now dead. So there, everyone wins. Oh, wait. That sounds bad.
Yes, but, as I said, proceeds, you're not actually, how everyone's going about, oh, don't endorse this person because reasons. Well, on the plus side, proceeds from that particular mess are actually going towards save the children. And I think that's a good thing.
It's kind of like, once
it balances it out somewhat.
Yeah, it's like R. Kelly, all the money that he's now going to like napkin funds and towel funds to, drive the young girls off.
So I was gonna go with how OJ, even after all these years and all this blame that's been put on him, he still has that award out there to find the real killer. That's dedication. That says innocent.
No, I think he still has it out there because he knows he's not risking anything.
Oh yeah, they do sentient.
Wait, are you implying something? The glove did shit.
Yep.
Oh, whatever.
Just because he was already wearing a glove and he put on 40 pounds doesn't mean anything.
Oh no, of course not.
Yeah. Anyway,
It was just a mess. I mean, look, I haven't watched the case in detail. I've only watched the American Crime Story version, if you will. I mean, but if that's anything by which to judge, I think the whole case. Yep. I think the whole case was an absolute mess.
Well, I don't know. He was a great running back, so I kind of disagree.
He was also in The Naked Gun.
He was in The Naked Gun, yeah. You can find him on different golf courses now. Him and Bill Cosby. Anyway, I don't read fiction. I read a lot, but I don't read fiction. Let's see right
So
now.
you didn't read his book. If I was to kill the lying, cheating bitch, this is how I would have done it.
No, I
A
missed out on that
hypothetical
one.
OJ story, I think it was called.
No, I missed out on that one, bro. Yeah, no, I read this book by Andrew Seidel called The Founding Myth. It was pretty interesting for a while. Yeah, it was basically just talking about the how like the founding fathers were not exactly as Christian as what like people led you to believe. Like the most of what all the myths about like George Washington or whatever came from this door to door salesman who just made the shit up to sell it. Which is smart, you know. Hey, Banana Dave. And talked about how
Oh,
how,
Banana Dave, here is he? Sorry,
yeah,
I didn't highlight it. Where is it?
how like Jefferson took like he took out all of the miracles out of the New Testament, whatever. He just basically just kept like the sermons from Jesus or whatever. And that was a pretty interesting book, man. There was this great story of this dude. I don't know what denomination he was from, but like he was basically there as they're like, you know, writing up the Constitution or whatever, like to make sure like they, you know, they keep the Jesus in it. And he would write letters back to like his head people just complaining about how how much he hates them because like they wouldn't pray before, like they didn't listen to him. Yeah, they'd get so mad. Good time. Boy, you want to talk about a dude that had a bad death, man. They like, you know how many leeches
Gandhi.
they put on him?
Oh, sorry, because he starved. So
Who?
Gandhi.
No, George Washington, dude. They kept trying to do the bloodletting or whatever.
It's like he's dying. Let's just keep cutting him, see if that works.
Yeah, you actually wonder with regard to old medical practices, who the hell came up with those ideas? Like, oh, I know what'll get rid of it. Let's cut someone up.
Well, I mean, certain things make sense, like drilling a hole in someone's head and pouring in boiling water to get rid of the demons. That scientifically makes sense. But bloodletting's just weird.
Yeah, that is the weird one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wonder, you know, where was the first instance of that happening? When did it first occur to someone? You know what?
Well,
I'm going to grab what's in that pond and put it on me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, I'm feeling really shit. It's like, oh, why don't you just go for a swim and relax? He's like, dude, I feel better. It's like, it happened. I don't know, man. Some leeches attached to me nuts, and all of a sudden, I feel great.
I also have the same question regarding chilies. You know, who was the first person who said, "I'm going to put that in my mouth"?
Right.
White people. That's the way we. Do you remember the other joke, Nick? Do you remember the other joke? Who the hell looked at a chicken and said, "Right, the first thing that comes out of that animal's arsehole, I'm going to eat"?
Right, dude.
I might have to send you a link on Chicken's Anatomy because I don't think you know where they what hole. I mean, it's not Yeti. They have two holes, but one of them's.
They have a what's it called, man? The specific.
It's called a cloaca. I'm aware.
Yeah, they have
aware of that.
They have a quokka.
Yeah, that's where the poo comes out of. Their clacker.
Yeah, the quokka. Yeah. By the way, like as far as the medical stuff, dude, people weren't washing their hands until almost 1900. Like it was like 1870s before they figured that shit out. Like, you know what I mean? Like some things people are really slow on.
Like, why would I wash my hands? That's drinking water.
Yeah, well, yeah, they just didn't know anything about like you know, bacteria or whatever and all that bullshit. Which is weird because
you got little tiny people living on your hands, you know, slowly killing you. Go away. Burn him, he's a witch.
Well, which is weird though, like because I'm pretty sure in school and ever since like it's just like felt like a known thing that that Native Americans were killed because they were given blankets with smallpox. And it was always put in like the context of like it was on purpose. It was in, you know, that was their intent. But they wouldn't have a clue about where it came from. They still thought it was Like, oh man,
I mean, back in the day,
did you masturbate?
assuming it's around the 1600s,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
they
about.
would have still subscribed to what's called miasma theory, which is the idea of bad air,
Yeah,
right? So they wouldn't
yeah,
have known about things like germs and pathogens and all of that stuff.
exactly.
It's just a question of bad air. I mean, there's a reason why, for example, in Indonesian, for example, when they say you've got a cold, they use the phrase non-literally. They use the phrase "let the wind in." It's to do with that miasma theory thing. It's to do with bad air, and it's the same thing back in the 1600s.
John Kellogg was one of the first people. He was an early proponent for the germ theory of disease.
Hmm.
He made Kellogg.
He made cornflakes
Yeah. And he also loved the enemas.
with cornflakes.
Yeah. Who was Graham? Was another crazy dude, man.
He invented
Graham.
crackers.
Oh, he was one of those like you better not masturbate or you're gonna get like all the diseases. Like he would give speeches about not how not to. That's why the graham cracker.
Imagine being so dirty that you caught an STD from masturbating.
Well, look, dude. Like his whole thing was like spicy food would get people all horned up and shit, which would cause them to get diseases or whatever. So that's why the graham cracker originally was just dull and just like bland. Because it was made specifically to keep people from banging.
The spicy food thing is all to do with like the Chinese medicine thing, the yin and yang and all of that kind of stuff. Apparently, having a surfeit of yang energy, means an increased libido and extra horniness and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently brought on through spicy food.
Yeah, or if not that, then eating rhino penises.
Oh, I know what you did there.
I hasten to add quickly that my cousin is actually a doctor of Chinese medicine. So
really,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so she'd know all about the whole acupuncture and all of the kind of the woo woo stuff.
The woo stuff.
Mm.
I don't what.
All the stuff that is slightly unscientific and non-medical.
Oh, yeah, like her stuff that she does. No?
If you're talking about Asian medicine, don't call it woo-woo. That sounds a bit racist.
It really does.
Is it?
I thought he was just doing Tech 9.
If that's the case, I'm still not apologizing for it.
That's funny, man. I was trying to find this one thing about.
I was gonna add to your racist joke, but now I'm thinking it's probably not a good idea.
No. Let me go to this one instead.
Yes, it's very racy lacism, isn't it?
So, all right. So, Graham, I'm gonna tell you real quick about Graham. Let's see.
don't pull the stream down, Mama Susan, please.
Yeah, please don't. We're gonna talk about masturbation, but in a negative way. Wait, is that better or worse? I don't know. Drinking pure water and eating a vegetarian diet anchored by bread made at home from flour ground at home, so that it remained wholesome and natural, containing no added spices or other quote unquote stimulants. And he also had a rigorous lifestyle that included sleeping on hard beds and avoiding warm baths. So this regimen that he came up with, right, it's
like avoiding. How do you like avoid? You just don't take them. It's just not like you walk in the room. It's like shit.
Hey man,
fucking warm baths again. All right, got to do like a Mission Impossible around the room to get away from them.
This has been described as an early example of preventative medicine. So the emphasis on milling and baking at home was part of his vision of America, in which women remained at home. Okay, I'm on board, and nursed their families into health and maintained them there. Graham believed that adhering to such diet would prevent people from having impure thoughts and in turn would stop masturbation, thought by Graham to be a catalyst for blindness and early death.
I think being cooped up at home with nothing else to do is probably a factor that would increase it.
So his piece on self-pollution.
That's why they invented the Rubik's Cube.
Well,
You
so
know,
his work
gave guys something to do, because if they weren't doing that, they'd be doing something else.
apparently there was a
Is that
masturbation
meth?
scare. There was a masturbation scare in antebellum America in like 1834. And he believed youthful masturbation was dangerous to children's health because of the immaturity of their reproductive organs. Well, so far it sounds scientific.
But not in France.
Let's see here. As a famous Graminism? That's weird. I thought that he would do some weird shit with penises too, though. Like he would sew them up.
I don't think he would. I think that's the whole point. I think he'd cut them off and then just sew the thing up so there was no external
Well, they would need
organ.
it eventually.
No, just eat graham crackers instead.
No, like they would try to keep teenage like young teens like from masturbating. They were just like, well, you don't need the have your penis out. We'll go sew it up. I don't know, man. It's science, you know.
Yeah, you gotta trust the science.
I mean, at this time, yeah, like this is what you'd be going against. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, last time I trusted the science, it turned out that I was right and the science was wrong. And I don't like it when I'm right and science is wrong.
Yeah, the problem is science is not a fixed thing.
Science will hear you.
Yes, it is constantly evolving and being questioned and being updated, and
Science is a living being,
yes,
just like
it's a little thing called the half-life of facts.
Yeah, but I mean, that makes sense, but it doesn't help my story. So you see, we're at a crossroads.
Well, yeah, see, so Kellogg and Graham are linked because Kellogg kind of went a little different, though. Like, he had a chair that would shake you so violently, like you would shit yourself. And that was a good thing.
Was it like steam powered or something? Like,
by the way, dude, first you would get a water enema, and then that was followed by the administration of a pint of yogurt. Half was eaten, the other half was administered by enema.
Charming.
Yep. Well, so I kind of see what he was going for, like the whole, like, you know, like people trying to still
the acidophilus and all those other bacteria in the colon. Is that what it was?
Petit is French for enema.
Well, like, so, like, you know how everybody was trying to still Tom Brady's shit so that they could put it in their ass.
Tom Brady gets himself cloned. I saw that Netflix show with what's his name in it, the comedian guy, Ant-Man. What's his name? Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah. That's how he goes in and gets his blood treated, but they just kill him and then make a new clone that's better. Same thing happened with Sam and Nick. That one, except one of them escaped, but we don't know which one's the original.
How do you know there's only two of us?
Well, I've only seen two of you. I mean, if there's a third one,
that's precisely the point. Do you know whether there's a third one?
I don't know. Or Steve. I bet you have a Steve. Where's actually? I want to meet Steve. Bring Steve on. Steve's a good bloke. But none of you have seen that. I think it's called Living with Yourself.
I've seen a lot of clone movies, though.
Let me have a little look.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. And then the pandemic happened. In it. So, yeah, it's not a comedy. And he's not an ant in it, so it's like different for him.
Just reading about Kellogg here, and gynecological surgeries, huh? This dude was messing around in everybody's bodies. It was a big thing in England too, like with animals. Like that was the whole point of the island of Dr. Monroe's, because people were just hanging out. Like they would have parties and just start cutting up animals and just like rummaging around inside.
Hey Bill, did you bring that yak? Yeah, let me get my hands in it. Like, that's that sort of shit. They just bring over animals just to dissect. It's a bit weird.
Oh, here we go. So, so vibrational therapy by way of sinus high frequency. Was discovered by Kellogg in 1884. Let's see. He invented a vibrating chair used to stimulate vital organs in the lower abdomen. Even today, one can visit the Kellogg Discovery.
Would.
Yeah, dude, that chair's still there, man. Oh, he had a bed too that he was going to try to come up with. Man, this is crazy. People were crazy, man.
What do they call the chair? A wankette?
Oh, man,
No. You can still call it a bonkette.
So Kellogg followed the teachings of Sylvester Graham. That's their link. Oh, all right, here we go. So he wasn't responsible for the widespread.
Misinformation.
No. Circumcision. He never promoted routine circumcision of all males, and
No,
rather
he just liked to play around. He went too far and he got the sack.
Let's see. He did promote extensive measures to prevent chronic masturbation. He circumcised himself at age 37. He circumcised himself at age 37.
Yeah, it was a total snip.
Let's see. So some of his
total snips of the heart. I think that the song was playing.
So what he would do is he would cut off part of the genitals without anesthetic on both sexes. He wrote men who should be circumcised and women that should have. I'm not gonna read their stuff. Dude, man, people were just like, I don't know, man. I don't know like what it is now. Like I couldn't ever like just purposely hurt someone like that. You know what I mean? Like I guess he thought he was saving these people. By like,
I mean, but do you think he knew what he was doing in that regard? So that it was.
Well, it's what he believes.
Probably did. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, here it is. Yeah, they would take one or more silver sutures, and it would to prevent erections, right? So they would basically get the foreskin, and then the needle would, and they would just like, dude, they would just fucking sew it up, man.
That sounds shit.
Oh, couldn't believe it, dude. Sam, did you know all rhinos were Gentiles?
Rhino?
Oh. No, but I know the movie you're referring to is like basically that he had a shit chair too. Yeah. What? We know that's what the sound makes, dude. That's funny. Wait, what are we talking about? What disease?
Chlamydioritis.
I haven't been looking at this yet. Did I miss anything?
I checked out for like 20 seconds because my monitor turned off.
Were you two taking like?
Last thing I know, Sam or Nick was talking.
Sam.
Yes, what?
What were you saying?
I don't know. You asked me a question, didn't you?
I don't.
Yeah, and I think you're answering it, and then he interrupted.
I did not.
Do you remember what you asked me?
It was probably about your penis. If I had to guess.
What was the question?
No, I think I said something about rhinos being Gentile.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, that makes no sense. But anyway.
It
when was the last
days.
time you saw a rhino with a yarmulke on?
So yeah, I got finished my rhinosaur video for my next matchplanation. I think it turned out pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to find another
Speaking
animal.
of rhinos, hey Rhino, how's it going?
Howdy do.
Oh, hey, what's up?
What's going on, Rhino? Oh, I was going to ask him a question, but it might spoil the video. I was wondering what he does when he gets itchy. I'll ask him later. Not important.
All right, well, so what do you guys want to? So I don't want to do like anything too serious. Like I figured we could try out the trope talk. We have queer-coded villains. That sounds fun. And fridging.
Go with
I like-
fridging.
I like fridging.
Right? Oh man,
Yeah.
like
Fridging.
probably one of the best things they've ever invented.
I think honestly, given the nature of this stream, I think putting women in refrigerators sounds very apt, don't you think?
Exactly. And I mean, hey, it worked for Hal Jordan. He never heard,
Guaranteed
he never heard
to
her
not do
whining
terrible
again.
things to supporting characters. I've talked about this before in its own trope talk, but character deaths are a big deal. They're momentous occasions both in story and out, because not only is the character dead, which is obviously a bummer on its own, but it also means the total loss of all future potential for a given character. All their arcs, dynamics.
Yeah, because they're dead.
Yes,
Unless
and
they're on
and
Disney
because
Star Wars.
ironically enough, they aren't important enough, and they need to motivate the main character.
Bro, she hasn't even got to that. She's just talking about what happens when you die.
What's
Okay,
we're getting
I got a party answer,
existential?
Mad, so here we go. He scratches it.
All right, we can keep
Relationships,
going.
relationships, everything, all lost in exchange for a one-shot gut punch. Now, most authors recognize that this is a hefty loss for their story, so they make damn sure the impact is
Wait, hold on. So she already comes from it with this bias of like, you know, it's just for this one moment. That's the only reason they were killed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Like-
but I mean, all deaths play a role. Well, not all, but essentially most of them do anyway.
If they're written well, they should play a role.
Yeah. And if they're written to be killed, that is still a role that needs to be filled.
Case in point, use
Uncle Ben still had to die.
Case in point, use episode 1 of Wheel of Time, where they gave Perrin a wife just to kill her off in episode 1. Did we know this character? No. Did we care? Nope. Did it come up later in the series? No. It was absolute bullshit.
Oh man, if you're gonna quiz me, you got to give me time to guess.
well, so I love the Outpost, right? It's a great movie, but one of the criticisms I did have about it is that everybody kind of blended together at some point. So when they ended up being killed later in the battle, like it didn't mean as much because I didn't know which one it was.
Oh shit, they got rid of Steve. No, that was Bill. No, Michael, Jeremy, Sam. Fuck.
Basically, like
It was the guy from that movie. No, not the other one. Oh shit, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Oh, the movie's over.
anyway.
worth the price. True, non-fake out main character deaths are often heroic sacrifices, protracted tragedies, or carefully woven resolutions to their arcs after all the loose ends have been tied up. They're usually given time and narrative.
Character deaths fundamentally change the story and the survivors. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yes, they do, and they should.
Yeah.
But she's saying they give you time to process it. That's not always a good thing. Like, look at something like Infernal Affairs. Shit, what's the remake? The Departed.
Yeah, Departed.
That was a quick, sudden sort of. He gave you no real time to process that one. So is that a bad death? According to, I mean, she looks pretty smart. She got a lot of books on her shelf. That's not even touching the wall. You can see how much of a distance there is behind it, which is bothering me for some reason. I have no idea why.
Oh man, what, I can't see the books there. Listen, you got Aristotle. I wonder if she has the rest of Spa. You know, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle,
Socrates,
Spa,
Plato,
Aristotle. Yeah, it's
the
like a
other
super
guy
band.
that liked to touch tips. What was his name?
All of them.
Copernicus.
Yeah.
weight to reflect this cost. The surviving characters will process their grief, reflect on what the loss means to them, and are often fundamentally changed by the experience, maybe carrying on their legacy, setting off on a lengthy quest for vengeance, or viewing their layered and complex life as a personal inspiration to guide their way forward.
That's not necessarily. Sometimes a death is a death. Doesn't make it any less. Just because the main character doesn't go on a big long quest about someone dying, part of their journey could be bottling it up as well. Like, I mean, it depends on
I
how
think
they
she
got
covered that. She said, like, you know,
Like grief and also the refusal to deal with said grief.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be like, it doesn't even have to be apparent that it is bothering someone, like a character. Like it could come up later on. Like
it could be in a weird way. It could be a viewed as a character flaw. So something they don't see as a problem initially, but something that will become a problem later in the narrative.
Oh, I thought you meant like in the sense of like The Stranger, the Albert Camus, like because the whole no, because like his mother dies, but like he just can't figure out why he doesn't feel anything. Oh man, I almost sneezed. Damn it!
Oh, you sneezed so much that you put a picture in a picture.
Yeah, I did. I didn't even sneeze, man. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if y'all have read The Stranger.
Well, see, when someone says something about The Stranger, I assume that means when you sit on your hand for half an hour, but you don't feel it, and then you vigorously masturbate.
Nah, bro, I'm talking about Albert Camus.
I don't know if he did it. He might have.
Shit. Whatever. Let's go on.
Not that trope. Fridging is the cute shortened form of the full name of this trope, Stuffed in the Fridge, named for a now infamous issue of a Green
Wait, sorry, shit. I didn't look at what she had written. Is that the right button?
Commas, and remember that?
Yeah, I swear. Is that not the comma? I don't know what my comma is.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this little phrase was coined by none other than Queen of Twitter trolls, Gail Simone, wasn't it?
What? No, dude, it's French, I think.
Complex life is a personal inspiration to guide their way forward.
No, not the philosophical. I'm talking about the term.
Fridging, or stuffed in the fridge, original term.
There you go. Writer Gail Simone.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I knew. I knew I was probably
that should give everyone in the chat and this panel an idea of exactly how much this idea or this quote unquote trope is really worth. Which is to say, not much.
I mean, I remember back in a time when if a whale appeared on the beach, you'd roll it back in, not give it a job at DC.
Or you would blow it up.
Well, it depends. If you got dynamite, it fits down the blowhole, but if you don't, then there's no point.
Oh, dude, I forgot where it was, man. They put so much dynamite on this thing. It was raining well all over the place. But no, so here's my problem with this, right? We've been telling stories as humans, like in writing them. What is that? Oh,
I don't know. I was muted
right into the mic. But no. We've been writing and telling stories for, I don't know, ever since there was man. For me, when it comes to like stories and writing, I don't give much credence to a term or some thought that came out, right before, like 3 years before I graduated high school. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have the...
Yeah, it's a flashy neologism. It doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
And besides which, I mean, if you're going to kill off a character, assuming you've done your job well, the death in question should really have an impact for the audience as well. If you've built the character up enough and made us care, and if not for the character who dies, then at least for the character who didn't want that character to die. So if you've done your job well, it should work.
Well, here's the deal. I think their main issue is not going to be with that someone dies. It's that specifically it was a woman that died.
That it was a woman. Like,
she should have had her own story, her own storyline. I guarantee it.
Look,
she was introduced as a love interest just to be killed off. Yeah, that was the
last time. I mean, that's the thing. When was the last time anyone read a book where every single character, primary, secondary, minor, all of that stuff? When was the last time someone read a book in which every single character had their own story?
Well, I mean, now that she's actually, I don't know.
Unfortunately, some people.
Unfortunately,
some characters are going to have to be left by the wayside. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You've just got like. Technically, this should be instead of being called fridging or anything. Shouldn't this be called stormtroopering or red shirting? Like, because I mean, look. Stormtroopers are literally just put in there just to be killed.
Right, but that's different.
That would have been way more, in my opinion, way more illustrative. Because the idea of
Yeah, but
a
the thing is, Gail Simone was looking to
Well,
Exactly.
No, Galsheim was looking in the
stir the
fridge.
pot, so to speak.
Well,
yeah, she was look. If there's a pot of shit around, she's stirring it like it's God's work.
that's what I was gonna
Right?
say. The problem with those two examples is that they're dominantly men, like predominantly men. So that doesn't work.
It still makes the point in the sense that they are throwaway characters whose
Yeah.
deaths don't really mean much.
It
But
makes the
see, she's trying to make it. Gail Simone is trying to make it a gender thing, which it's not.
Well, I mean, the only reason why she gives a shit about the fridging and everything is because that's where her food usually lives.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and that's why she doesn't want to be
The
taken up by
shortened form
people.
of the full name of this trope, Stuffed in the Fridge, named for a now infamous issue of a Green Lantern comic where Green Lantern Kyle Rayner's girlfriend is murdered by the villain Major Force and stuffed in the fridge for him to find when he gets home. Fridging is the very
Fridging, character death that happens only to upset a more important character. Fridgings are plot devices that don't get the same exploration, depth, or gravitas as a major character death would be given, because they're not as important. Mostly afflicts secondary characters.
And usually they happen around the beginning of the story. Now, I don't know about you, but usually when a death occurs later in the story, we've had a longer time to get to know that person. But if a death occurs near the beginning, well, we haven't had that much time, so we have to deal with it.
Yeah,
Tough
I
shit,
can't believe they fridged the Waynes in the Batman movie. My God.
Exactly. Like tough shit.
That's an example of fridging.
Sometimes deaths start stories. Tough shit.
Oh yeah, first place. Sorry, I'm looking at Gail's
specific
thing.
subset of character deaths wherein a character is unceremoniously and brutally killed specifically and solely for the narrative purpose of hurting another, more important character. This motivation can be Watsonian or Doyleist, as in universe villain motivation or out of universe authorial intent. In Watson.
Hold on, what did she just do? Did she just
She
try to prove
started-
to
She
us?
started talking.
There
She
was a bit
started
of-
talking
there was a bit of-
literary critic.
Blabber there.
Yeah.
Watsonian or Doyleist, as in Rayner's girlfriend is murdered by the villain Major Force and stuffed in the fridge for him to find when he gets home. Fridging is the very specific subset of character deaths wherein a character is unceremoniously and brutally killed specifically and solely for the narrative purpose of hurting another,
Right.
more important character. This motivation
Yeah.
can be Watsonian or Doyleist, as in universe villain motivation or out of universe authorial intent. In Watsonian.
All right, you
Okay,
guys
she's
want
she's getting pretentious now, but Darius has got it. Darius has got it. Like Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, or Uncle Ben and the Waynes. Exactly. Like Gail Simone is acting like this only happens to women. It doesn't.
All right,
And
That's
they're
the
acting
point.
as
That's
if
why she
it
used the
was,
term fridging instead of something like neck snapping or anything like with Gwen Stacy. She used this one just because it had its own unique cause of death. If she was smothered, if this character was smothered in chocolate or drowned in chocolate, she'd call it chocolate in, but it'd still be food related. It's Gail Simone we're talking about. But yeah, I mean that's why she's coining the term fridging and wants it to be like, oh, this is such a bad thing because all these other ones, well, they didn't involve a fridge, so they're not as bad. But everything afterwards
this is
relating
the
back
other
to the
thing.
fridge.
This is the other thing.
In universe
Hearing that definition, such as it is, right? Am I supposed to believe that this is a bad thing? Because so far, I'm not getting that it's a bad thing.
It's
All
just
right.
motivation.
This is what I wanted to see, okay? Because so the first one was in universe villain, and then the second part of that was out of universe. Oh, okay.
Authorial intent.
Yeah.
It's
Which
just to
basically
me that she's trying to-
which basically means it's got nothing to do with the characters, it's got nothing to do with the villain doing villainous things. It's got everything to do with the author being an arsehole and putting it in there because he wants it in there. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say she's impugning motives there.
Yes, that too. She's also attacking motives. But yeah, that's not a good thing either.
By the way, you know what else is based on the intent of the author, the writer? Everything.
The entire world.
Everything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is what I don't get when you deal with people like because I've done the whole literary analysis thing at uni, right? These people don't understand that death of the author as a form of literary criticism is only one mode of literary criticism. It is not the mode of literary criticism. There are some people who actually hold authorial intent to be very important. Some of us don't, some do.
And you know that's true because he said it in a posh accent. So
I'm not that posh. But anyway. But no, that's what I mean. Like this, the way people go on, they act like death of the author is the be all and end all, but it really isn't. Go on then.
All right, yeah, sorry. I didn't know, like, because I can't look at the chat while I'm doing the video and stuff, and I miss, like, people were, Courtney was asking about,
well,
Albert Camus.
Sentient Dildo got it. Yeah, we're probably all missing the point. It only matters when it happens to women.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably
By the
true.
way, Albert Camus was he was an absurdist. In fact, he was the father of absurdism. So a little different. Like he gets linked a lot with some of his French contemporaries, but he didn't really care for them because they stunk because they were French.
Or out-of-universe authorial intent. In
Facts.
Watsonian cases, the killer is specifically motivated to kill the Friggy because it'll hurt the character who cares about them. In Doyleist cases, the killer might have all kinds of personal reasons to want to unceremoniously brutalize this character, but the author's motivation in killing the character is only to make the more important character upset.
He's writing it.
That's a bit of an attack on motive there. I mean, I agree that, that I think she said the Watsonian approach is the villain is actually motivated to kill the person.
Correct.
Right, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. But then she goes on about, the Doyleist approach, which is to say it's all to do with authorial intent. In other words, everything the author puts in there is because the author wants it in there.
See, banana Dave.
And that's the thing. You wouldn't believe some of the crap. You wouldn't believe some of the crap that people have used that approach to justify. I mean, just recently, I think it was Claire McIntosh. She was accused of, being a racist or whatever it was, simply because the villain in her thriller book said some racist shit. The excuse they come up with is, everything that is in the book is there because the author wanted it to be there. Yeah, see, the Doyleist approach only goes so far, my friend. There is such a thing as context.
Yeah, but he did the context.
They'll use the justification. Well, if you put it down on there that you've written this character as a racist character and he's done this and that, then therefore that's a part of you.
Right.
To be able to think of something that heinous, that means it has to be a part of you, and that must be your desires to get it out because these
the irony, of course, being is that if we're going to hold that to be the moral standard, nobody would ever again write a decent villain.
No,
or even any action whatsoever.
But dude, that's what they're doing now. That's what's happening now. Every villain has a tragic backstory that was done by someone else.
True.
Yeah,
and it's always someone else's fault.
And of course, the one that gets me is, I'm pretty sure you'll agree with this, but the one that gets me is that we're all smart people here. We all understand the difference between a reason and excuse.
Yeah, I'm very smart. I know all the letters of the alphabet.
Right.
I know some of the best words.
That's the thing that a lot of modern readers. That's the thing that a lot of modern writers are doing these days. When you look at things like Cruella or God knows what else, but what they're doing is they're not actually giving her reasons for her villainous behavior. They're making excuses. It's like when you see a female character who does some horrible shit. And then they come up with a sob story about how she was abused by a man or whatever. It's like, that's not a reason for your behavior, honey. That's an excuse.
So where that comes from, though, is this idea. I forgot what her name. The one that is like going to take over for Indiana Jones, whatever her name is, right?
Philip. What's her name?
Phoebe
Waller-Bridge.
Yeah. So she was giving all of her great advice on writing, right? And at one point she goes,
"Oh God, I forgot about that."
If you're trying to understand something about yourself or whatever, then just write it and have your character figured out. Like, if you can't figure it out, how are you going to write your character? But what I noticed though is always centered around the writer, right? And so that's what you see. That's why the villains are going to have excuses and not reasons, because they just like their characters, they justify everything that they do, so that they don't have to claim responsibility or
Take responsibility.
be
Exactly.
or be at fault.
And
Yeah.
it's
And so
it's
that's
where
reflected
you
in their
get-
writing.
And that's the problem, because if you stick around long enough to read some of their content, you'll realize that a lot of the morality, and take Cruella for example, a lot of the morality is completely inconsistent. And I think there was a great example of this brought up. I can't remember where this was, but yeah, I think it was a show called The 100, right? Where
I remember
an
it.
event happened that was that positioned the viewer to essentially believe that the person doing this particular act was absolutely evil, and they were absolutely horrible and deserved to die and all that kind of stuff. And then in season 5, they're presented with exactly the same scenario, but the protagonists are now the ones doing it. And again, the episode frames them to be the good guys. So, and so I think it's on a trope site. It's actually called Protagonist-Centered Morality.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about too. It's essentially what it is: rules for some and rules for others. But
yeah, rules for thee and not for me. Yeah.
yeah, like you'll put a character in a situation where they're forced to kill someone to stay alive, and then you'll have the main character antagonize them, saying it's wrong. But then the main character will kill someone like that, and they'll be like, "No, but I felt like I was justified," and because the lens is being told through their own.
Yeah,
their
exactly.
lens,
And you know what? Most people, if they're not particularly observant, most people will fall for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Women's shouldn't be allowed to write for movies or TV. Is that what you were saying? I kind of.
Are you trying to do another?
Well, actually, no, not women, but I do think that if Phoebe Waller-Bridge writes another script for a movie, I think they should lop her hands off. But
bro, she's getting. I think she's getting a series on Disney.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You know,
Like
she's
Marvel?
only critically acclaimed because she holds the right politics.
Well, it's not because of the content of what she's made, that's for sure.
It's like Fleabag. How do I write myself about
never
being
even seen
whore? I'm just going to write what's in my diary.
All right.
Yes,
Let's see
well.
where she goes.
Story is hurting a different character, and it's still framed as unceremonious and brisk. Fridging almost always refers to character deaths, but sometimes the character is instead subjected to some kind of horrible torture or fate worse than death with the same overall impact. The character that really matters isn't the one targeted for the horror.
Okay, we're expanding it. All right, that was quick. All right,
can you say moving the goalpost?
Right. Well, I mean, one, it's not as if we're specifically talking about women that get put in fridges only.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're not moving the goalpost; they're changing fucking stadiums.
Focus is still on anyone. I hear a little bit of echo. Anyone but the victim. Well, why would the focus be on the victim? They're dead. What are we gonna do? Just hang out?
For the next 7 issues, we're going to focus on the dead character Karen,
yes, and we're going to fill in the dead character's backstory for the next 10 episodes. No thanks.
Where does she come from? Where does she go?
Where did it come from, Cat Nine Joe?
But the hero who's reacting to it, and
most importantly, who'd she sleep with?
Into their awful situation is usually glossed over in favor of how much that focus character suffers by proxy. Because of reasons, Fridging disproportionately.
Because of reasons for effect. Oh, of course. All right, secondary characters are more narratively disposable. Yes. In all cases.
That's why they're not the main characters, and even main characters are disposable depending on who's the writer.
Yes, exactly. Guess what? Not every character can be a main character. Tough shit.
Well, hang on. Hold on. She's using a she has math on the board. Let's see. So we're gonna combine secondary characters are more narratively disposable. Plus, female characters are often in second supporting roles: sidekicks, wives, girlfriends, mothers, subordinates, etc. Here, check this out. Male characters are often in secondary supporting roles: sidekicks, husbands, boyfriends, fathers, subordinates, etc.
I've got a comment on this one.
Math is hard.
Yes, I've got a comment on this one, but we'll wait for her to get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
affects female characters, often barely developed mons or love interests whose only salient character traits are the hero likes them. So when they're brutalized or murdered, often off screen, their more nuanced male hero fam/love interests can become deeply unhappy about it.
Okay,
In fact,
stop there
that's
for a
a very
sec.
easy
Okay, just yeah. Here's the comment I was gonna make before, but
Get him, Sam.
it wouldn't be because, let's face it. I mean, it has to be sexism, right? I mean, it wouldn't be because, generally speaking, readers and writers and literally everyone in the world has a more sympathetic reaction to women's deaths in general.
Oh, hey, hang on now.
It wouldn't.
They shouldn't.
It wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be that women are wonderful effect rearing its head, would it? It wouldn't be because, generally speaking, people have more empathy and more sympathy when shit happens to women.
Yeah,
Put it this way:
Exactly.
if a man was fridge, nobody would give a fuck.
we get
Dude, it
fridged all
happened
the
to
time,
Harrison
bro.
Ford.
Literally. But like, so that was also one thing that was brought up before they lifted the ban on women in combat roles in the military, because one of the things was like, because of that, it's almost innate like feeling of like wanting to protect women.
Yeah, more men were getting killed trying to protect the female
Correct.
combatants. If they had a choice between finishing part of their
Yes.
mission and then going back to help one of their male counterparts, it's very different. If it's a female counterpart, it's almost 100% that they would all go back, and that was the reason. That was the reason why. It had nothing to do with their ability to be able to do combat or anything.
Yeah.
It was
Yes,
it was
but of course-
the psychological thing.
But of course, Gail Simone doesn't want to acknowledge that.
And also, about on top, I mean, just in simple thing, like if you know, they had two patients, like they had two guys that were trying to do 9-line medevacs on, right? Almost always they're gonna choose the woman, no matter how bad the dude is, how much, like, or even the reverse, like if she's basically dead, but you got a guy with a splinter, they're not. Well, maybe that's not enough, but you know what I mean. Like they're not gonna bother with the dude first.
Shut up,
It's always
Steve.
gonna be her.
You've got another leg. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
She's got a fucking scratch in her neck.
Oh, another thing, dude.
I mean, this may be something of a dated reference, but I mean, do we all know the movie Chicken Run?
With
Mel
Yes,
Gibson?
maybe so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
it's not
that's
like
the
there's
one, yeah.
anyone here that's Jewish. I
Yeah,
apologize.
all right.
Grant.
There's a reference in there where, I mean, they're trying to. I mean, Tweedy's farm is trying to sell chicken pies, right? They're trying to sell chicken pies, and there's a little scene between Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy where he asks her why I'm comfortable. That's precisely what's going on here with the fridging. People generally have a more positive, or should I say, empathetic reaction when women are concerned. It's called the women are wonderful effect. This happens in advertising. This happens
breaking up a
in
little bit,
narrative. People care more, actually give
for
more.
dramatic effect, or is that his connection?
That might be my connection. I'm not sure. Am I still coming through?
Lift your modem
you're
out of
fine.
the flood waters and get it somewhere high.
All right, we can keep going without him.
How's that?
We have a replacement, so it's okay if we lose them. All right.
Hey, you'd
let's
be
see.
nice to coin number one.
Fridging test number
Have
one.
I dropped out?
Would
Am
it
I-
happen? Oh, I didn't see this. Hold on. Fridging
Yeah, you're
test
back.
number one. I can still hear an echo coming from somebody. Like it's playing in the background. Would it hit the same if it happened off screen? How many things would? Is the only audience impact how much this upsets the character when they find out what?
Yeah, so essentially they're saying is if instead of her getting put in the fridge, we just found out, by the way,
Yeah, I get that.
your girlfriend was put in the fridge and we didn't see it, would it still have the same impact?
This upsets the character when they
But
find
if-
out. I just
in
don't
the
like the
medium of
wording of her
comics,
sentence.
if
That was
things-
my problem.
If things happen off the panel, then they don't have the same impact because
Right.
the impact isn't based on the characters; it's also based on the audience because they're seeing it.
Yeah, I get all that. I just didn't care for the way he like structured that sentence.
No, dude, I'm fluent and spastic, so I can help translate.
Nobody else is hearing like it playing in the background somewhere.
No.
No, I don't hear anything.
It's very faint. It's not me. I'm checking my phone now. Nope.
No,
Someone got another live stream
mute.
playing in the
I'm mute
background.
until I'm not talking.
Yeah, no, it just sounds like it's being played in the back. Whatever, we'll go on.
The litmus test to help determine if a character death constitutes fridging or not. If it could happen entirely off screen and have just as much impact on the story, especially if it does happen off screen, it's probably fridging. Its only narrative impact is how it bums out the more important characters,
See,
with no
that-
exploration of
how she worded that's bullshit, because if Batman's parents were killed off screen, it would still be the exact same motivation for him as a character. The fact that we've seen it is irrelevant.
Wait, I thought that's what she said.
No, she literally just changed her mind. I thought that's where she was going, so I counteracted with what I thought she was going to go with, but she's going the opposite. She's saying that if
screen, it's probably fridging. Its only narrative
impact is how it bums out the more important characters.
Impact is how it bums out the more important characters, with no exploration of how it affects the character actually being brutal.
You know how it affects that character? Because they're fucking
They're
killed.
dead. They're dead.
How can
I mean,
you
what
say that?
what does she want us to do? What does she want us to do? Hold our hands and call them up through a seance? What does she want to do?
All right, people are complaining about it.
What music?
I can hear myself in the back, right?
Wait,
Grant,
you don't have that stupid freaking music on this thing, do you?
No, God, no, dude. I'm telling you what I'm hearing. All right, Grant, mute your mic. Thank you. All right, can you hear it now? Yeah, I can hear it now. So Grant's okay. Nick. All right, see if we hear it now. Still hear it. That leaves Sam. Oh, I hope it's not me. All right, can we hear it now? Check, check, check. Sam, you're the ass.
Do you have some music playing in the background of your area?
It's an
Sam?
echo of this stream.
Well, it can't be because it's the volume's only turned up so I can hear you guys through my earphones. That's it.
Well, since he was talking about the music in this video.
Sentient Dildo says, "No, I'm talking about her shite background music."
Well, Tina could hear the echo too.
Brutalized.
Is your headphones plugged in properly, Sam?
Well, they should be.
All right, we keep going, man. Hey, Poe, what's up? All right, let's see. Getting killed off screen is such a dismissive fuck you to a character. What? What do you mean it's a fuck you? Okay.
Such a dismissive fuck you to a character. There's no send-off, no admission of tragedy. The character becomes nothing more than a plot device for someone else's angst. Side character or not, nobody deserves that. Now,
well,
the offspring...
angst.
They're not real, motherfucker.
Sweetheart, angst is the impact of the death. That's precisely the point.
I like how you called it sweetheart, because it sounds like it's a nice word, but you said it in a way that made me think that was an insult.
Yeah, it was such an Australian
I mean, would you
sweetheart.
prefer I call her a cunt instead?
No, I don't want. What, you're friends with her, are you?
Oh man, the whole idea of like
I don't have friends. I only have servants.
The whole idea of these fictional characters not deserving to be killed off screen is absurd. All right, the test isn't perfect. No, the dead character is too dead to experience complex consequences or any consequences because they're still dead.
No shit.
The dead character is too dead, opposed to being just a little bit dead.
Yes.
Yeah, they've passed the point of deadness to experience really anything. So the survivors are always focused on longer. Yeah, because they're the ones that are alive. Who else are we going to focus on?
Okay, so I want a 300 issue thing on Bruce Wayne's parents only after they died.
Yeah.
An on-screen death can be used to torment the more important character when
That was literally the guy's motivation because he
Oh.
knew it would hurt him.
Yeah, which is still fridging if that's its only framing.
As opposed to what?
But it's never even the example of fridging is that's not the. She's using that and calling it fridging, but even in the example of the girl being fridged, that was not the case.
What do you mean? It was the case that she was killed specifically to torture the Green Lantern.
Okay, perhaps I'm being a bit thick, but what is she suggesting here? I mean, she seems to be suggesting that, okay, the death motivates the main character. Okay, that's,
Correct.
tick. Okay, fine. That makes perfect sense. What else does she expect the death to do?
I guess we'll have to find out. Maybe she'll tell us.
That's what I want to know. I'm confused.
Screen test isn't quite enough to say if a death is
I'll be
fridging
back
or
in
not.
like
See,
10
while
minutes.
fridging
I've just got an
isn't
update to do on my computer and it's not letting me stop it.
Yeah, no worries, bro.
So
intended solely to upset another character, well-written character deaths almost always upset the other characters too. And since the character themselves is usually too dead to care, most of the lingering ramifications of their death only affect the other characters.
Wait, did
No
she say
shit.
most?
You mean all?
She did say most, right?
That's how correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how it's supposed to be. They're dead. What are they going to do about it? Of course, the other characters are going to have something to say or do or feel. Of course they are.
By the way, usually they're too dead to care.
Usually, unless of course we're dealing with some
zombies.
kind of unless we're dealing with some kind of cosmological afterlife.
Yeah. Like if it's it doesn't matter. It's probably a chick.
Usually too dead to care, most of the lingering ramifications of their death only affect the other characters, typically by upsetting them. So the distinction between a fridging death and a non-fridging death isn't immediately obvious from just this definition. The key difference is a fridging usually makes the other character
is crap.
The key difference is a fridging usually makes the other characters upset briefly
and shallowly, while a solid character death makes the other characters grieve.
Okay, stop there for a sec. Unfortunately, most films only have a certain amount of runtime.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've only got so long that a character can wallow in grief and navel gaze before it becomes annoying.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like Amazing Spider-Man 2, spoilers for that one. Like Gwen, right? Gets her head popped, right? And we spend a lot of time seeing him grieve, and they use leaves and snow to make it look like it's been longer. But eventually, he got back out there cracking jokes. Yeah. Why?
And
because
all of this took place in what? In
10,
terms
15,
of film, in terms of film time, about 15 minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
Like as I said, we don't have forever to watch the main character moon or bloody navel gaze. We can't see 2 hours worth of someone grieving, can we? I mean, that would just piss people off.
Well, so ooh, that sounds good. Like it feels like she just wants everything to be Grey's Anatomy. Oh, McNugget or whatever his name is died. I'm so sad. I'm gonna be sad for a whole season. Now I'm a lesbian.
Characters are never spoken of again after the arc they died in is resolved, or even before it's resolved. Try and convince me that Luke Skywalker was still bummed about Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru 10 minutes later. So as a second fridging litmus test, I'd like to propose a corollary.
Of course he wasn't. That's how films work, sweetheart.
Oh, I must have missed it. I was reading a... Let's see here.
So as a second fridging litmus test, I'd like the lingering difference is a fridging usually makes the other characters upset briefly and shallowly, while a solid character death makes the other characters grieve. Frequently, fridged characters are never spoken of again after the arc they died in is resolved, or even before it's resolved.
But they're dead. We got other things we got to do.
I would argue that's less to do with being shallow and more to do with runtime.
Whoa, hold on. First of all, let's just remember what's at stake here. They have this thing. It's called the Death Star. It's a pretty big deal. Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could read that into so many different ways. One, he really, if he slows down, if he has a chance to slow down, it'll hit him, right? Two, he is bottling it up specifically because, I don't know, the galaxy's at stake.
Dare I say it, there are more important things.
Yeah, then those two old people.
Skywalker was still bummed about Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru 10 minutes later. So as a second fridging litmus test, I'd like to propose a corollary of the iconic sexy lamp test, which explores if a story would meaningfully change if a character was replaced
You
with a
mean
sexy lamp.
corollary, sweetheart?
What?
She says corollary. She means corollary.
McDreamy. Whatever. Y'all knew what I was talking about.
Is the property damage test. If a dead character could be replaced by someone's prized Pokemon card collection and their loss would have the same or more emotional impact on the plot, that character was probably
But that's true with all men. We all have those things that we
the thing is
that
as
we
well,
treasure
like,
more
okay,
than women.
Using Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru as an example, do we really want the entire theater weeping like children within the first 10 minutes?
Right. Remember,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess you forgot that this is a movie about space wizards for kids.
Fridged. Now, this is kind of a rarity for this show, but fridging is a bad trope. It's not a frequently misused trope or a hard-to-handle trope. It's bad writing. Character deaths are not bad trope-wise.
Yeah, I don't think so. Hey, Stig. Yeah, this is so dumb. Like, one, it feels very subjective on what is going to be called fridging or not. These rules seem very ambiguous, or like there's not a lot of actually bad.
There's not a lot of there's not a lot of clarity or acuity.
No. And there's a lot of like, it may be fridging, it may not. It depends on these things. Like, was it a woman?
But fridging specifically indicates a lack of respect for the fridged character and their narrative potential.
They're not real, so. Motherfucker.
That's an attack on motive. That's bullshit. To assume there's a lack of respect is an attack on motive. Piss off.
Fridging weighs a character's potential worth to the story and concludes that all their future potential and growth and dynamics in the narrative are worth less than another character feeling kind of bad for a little while.
Because the story's not about them.
Yeah, the story's not about the dead person. That's it.
Like, honestly, like how do you write with this as a guideline, right? You're like, okay, so I have this guy. Oh, wait. Now let me think and write out everything that could happen to this person if I don't kill them. Crap, they cured cancer and super AIDS. Damn it. I can't kill them. What do I do now? Like what does that even, how do you even work around this idea of like having to measure the worth of all your characters before you can kill any?
Exactly. That is the question. And also the problem is she's assuming that the characters aren't worth much. That is a hell of an assumption to make. And that's what I said about, that's what I mean by attacking the motives of the author. Don't assume that the characters mean nothing to the author. Don't ever assume that.
Well, let's think about this, right? So let's take Man on Fire, okay? Before Denzel met little whatever her name is, Dakota, right? I can't think of another. I can't see him going through everything that he did to get her home safe. That for anyone else that he's ever worked for, anyone. But he did for her because she was very important.
Yeah, exactly. She was important, and we knew that as the audience, right?
Yeah.
And it might have been set up, I don't know, in the first 20 minutes or so, if you do your job well.
Right. Like,
this is reflected both outside of the story and in the story, since this character's killer, be it the character who kills them or the author who makes the call, demonstrably...
The author always makes the call. Why do you... She says this as if the fictional killer... that is
the author are the same thing.
Well, no. She's acting as if they're separate. See, it's so what she says, like, be it the character who kills them or the author who makes the call. It almost sounds like they're two different entities that are going to decide this person's fate.
Couldn't give a shit about them in their own right, instead choosing to focus entirely on how ending this character's life will make another character upset for an arc or two.
That's something you're going to have to think about when you write stories. How will this affect my character?
Yes, that's called what you call it? That's called character development and characterization.
Yeah.
Something Gail Simone would probably know nothing about.
There has to be something to put your story in motion, right?
Yes, it's called
Like-
impetus.
Right. So cause and effect is obviously the best way to tell a story,
hmm
but you have to have that the catalyst to start the whole thing off.
Yeah, absolutely. The inciting incident. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes that means bitches gotta die.
Their own life and
Mhm.
death isn't as important or deserving of focus as hurting the hero by proxy. This successfully indicates that the killer is a terrible person, but it also reflects a level of dismissiveness from the author.
No, it doesn't.
You don't know that. You can't just assume that they're dismissive because
Mhm. See, all of this is based on attacking the morals, if you will, of
Yeah.
the author. It's a fallacy.
Kai, you getting upset over there, bro? Now she's implying that the women in the fridge is like a possession. Yeah.
A love interest / beloved character can be killed or deeply, deeply hurt in a way that predominantly affects the plot by hurting another character without it feeling like fridging. This is largely a matter of the execution, pun intended.
Oh, well, all right. So the exact same thing can be done, but it's how it's done.
If the death is unceremonious and quick and off screen, that's a pretty bad sign, since it doesn't really give the
Hang on
character
Hang on a second. So it's not the actual death she has a problem with. It's the I don't like it because the writer wrote it this way.
Yeah, she doesn't like it happening off screen. I mean, there are so many examples in like
It's in short, it's a case of I don't like it, change it.
yeah, pretty much,
That's it.
yeah. Because sometimes it works better if they are killed off screen. There is an untold amount of like examples we could look up.
Doesn't highlight
And
the
also
tragedy of their
sometimes the
life.
implied violence can have a great impact.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Bruce is always a perfect example in Jaws, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was the lack of screen time. Oh, and Joker in the Dark Knight, 33 minutes of screen time.
Yeah,
Had the biggest impact out of the entire trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By the way, that was only one part. Like, so the second part is what was it, man? Let's see, go back to right here we go.
A matter of the execution.
So that was the first part.
If the death is unceremonious and quick and off screen, that's a pretty bad sign, since it doesn't really give the character their due. It doesn't highlight.
Doesn't give them their due?
They're a secondary character.
Hold up. Her examples, I think, are actually quite poor because what's her name? Sorry, what's Dracula's wife's name again?
I've completely forgotten, to be honest.
Alucard's mother. She turns up later. So she actually ends up, sorry, spoilers. She actually ends up, turning up a little bit later in the entire series. And as
very much alive.
Very much alive, along with Dracula himself. Sorry for spoiling things. And as for this lady here in X-Men Origins Wolverine, again, she's very much alive as well.
Yeah. Does that still count if they show up later?
If they show up later, I think the point of them showing up later, again, is to shock the audience. Like, oh my god, she's alive. I think that's
and
the
also
point.
the protagonist as well.
So far
yeah,
as
that too
I know,
shocks the
with
protagonist
fridging,
as well.
It's final. It's death.
Yes, fridging is final.
Okay.
Unless you want to change it to putting them in a cupboard or cupboarding.
It doesn't highlight the tragedy
their life and potential loss.
Of their life and potential loss. I guess focuses on why and how this makes the main dude. How can she not think of any movies that she loves that did not have a character die and everyone took 45 minutes to reflect on their life and their loss and what potential they had.
Put it this way, there's only so much navel gazing an audience can take.
Right?
You mean looking at stars or belly buttons?
Well, I mean, dang it, what is it? Oh man, Not Faith in Our Stars. What is it? Damn it! That was gonna be a good joke.
Fault in Our Stars.
Oh
Fault
yeah,
in Our Stars,
yeah. The you know, the happy-go-lucky one, that film.
Yeah. Oh, see that? I bet you love that movie. They spent the whole runtime going, "It's so sad you're gonna die." I know, I'm sad too, but I'm kind of
It's
happy
like-
because I got that dick.
It's like, oh my god, this is such an original story. I haven't even seen A Walk to Remember.
Or A Walk in the Clouds, the lesser known one with Mandy Moore.
That was the one I was
This
talking
is on
about.
why and
Huh? Oh, is it A Walk to Remember? Is that Mandy Moore?
Her and Emil Hirsch.
Damn it. Oh, dude, what happened to him, man? He got canceled like crazy.
Yeah, he did. I think he raped a chicken or something like
I
that.
think the last time I heard about Emil Hirsch was in Speed Racer, wasn't it?
No. I saw him in a movie with J.K. Simmons on the Hulu that didn't come out that long. It's Long Night, All Night Long, something like that. It was pretty good though.
Actually, he was in something recently that I watched that was pretty good.
Oh man, we watched this alien movie the other day with him in it, and it was in Russia, and it was bananas.
Was Dave in it?
No, but the dude from Suicide Squad, Flag.
Oh
He
yeah,
was in it.
Pinocchio. Yeah, because
he
he's
was
so
in it.
wooden in everything. Ah, that's not true. He was good in Altered Carbon.
Dude, he was great in.
Joel Kinnaman.
Dude, he was amazing in that prison movie where he was undercover. He was in the Russian mafia or whatever, but didn't become like a. What was that movie called? What's that guy's name?
Joel Kinnaman.
Spell that for me.
He's the main character in Altered Carbon, isn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was until he was
that's right.
replaced by Anthony Mackie.
Ah, yes, righto. Yeah. I've only
Because he
seen the
was-
first
He
season.
couldn't know it was because they saw a picture of him with red hair, and they went, "Oh, he's a redhead." So now we got to replace.
That's funny.
Kinnereiman, I think it is.
Yeah, I got it. I found it. Dude, they have him so low on the sheet here. What was the movie? It was a really good movie, dude. Hold on, let me find it real quick. It's worth a watch. Of course,
He
The
sucked as
Informer.
RoboCop though.
I didn't ever watch it, but The Informer though is what it was called. That's a great one. Also, another great prison movie that y'all needed to make sure you write down is Shot Caller. It's with Jamie Lannister. He's just like a normal white dude living his white life, and then he got a little too drunk, him and his wife and some friends out, and people died in a car wreck because of DWI, and so he gets sent to prison, and he's white. So guess what he has to do? He has to join a certain specific group of other light-skinned men. And dude,
it's not another
so
albino
fucking good.
gang one, is it? Ugh,
Dude. But it's so good, man. Watching him just
So it's gonna make you cry. He's joining the Harry Potter's fan club.
exactly like he has to evolve as in prison to survive, and it's a really good movie, dude. It's called Shot Caller. I've seen it a couple of times. I really
American
like it.
History X, the Westeros edition.
No, this one's different though because we're focused like it's not a two-hander like that one, right? Because that one you're watching both brothers. This one is just focused on Jamie Lannister.
Oh, fair enough. So not his brother. So not the little person
Nope,
that doesn't
didn't even
like
have a
little
brother. Yep.
Ah.
how this will make the main
Well, you know, if
character
he had a
sad.
sister, what
Every
he would do to
character
her.
is the hero of their own story, and if they die just to further someone else's
Every character is the hero of their own story. No, motherfucker, not when they're being written by somebody else. Let's see. Fridging feels bad because the dead character isn't being treated like a character.
So
their
we're only
deaths
going off feelings here.
is limited to others. Better written characters feeling bad. Now that not the audience. What the fuck?
story, it denies that character the basic dignity of being their own person who exists as more than just a prop in someone else's life.
But they're all props, motherfucker, in the author's story, dude.
Yes, after a fashion. And if the character is written well enough, even the reader will care that they die.
It takes their death and the loss of their entire future life and minimizes it down into a short, brief emotional impact on another character.
Because that's all they meant.
Because it kind of has to be.
How are you supposed to make it a brief and emotional thing on the character that's died?
I think they put way too much thought into this. I mean, why can't a character the character doesn't have to be important, but the event can be important, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Some of the most significant things a
we-
person
that'd
can
be
do
like-
We
that'd
don't
be
have
like-
to
is
fall to
die.
pieces over
Look,
every death or loss.
that'd be like people, yeah, exactly, falling to pieces over, the guy who gets killed by White Walkers in episode 1 prologue of Game of Thrones.
Oh, not
he
Billy.
was killed. How dare they?
Well, he wasn't
Exactly,
given the
like-
proper dignity as a character.
Exactly.
He was only there to show that bad things happen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
exactly.
this is said, to keep it short, sometimes bad things happen. Deal with it. Matt, are you with us?
Okay,
It's
I'll deal with
dismissive.
it.
Now we're about to enter the spicy take zone because the MCU is my
Oh,
old
quick,
favorite
get the
punching
graham
bag,
crackers
but
ready.
Personally,
I mean,
Oh,
what kind
for
of
goodness
spice? What
sake,
kind
they're
of
not
spice are we dealing
using
with here?
bloody Natasha Romanoff or bloody Gamora, are they?
Yeah, bro, they both got fridged.
Oh my
they're
god,
not.
that is so
They're not
awesome.
bloody fridged.
You don't know how cold it is
They're
on that planet.
sacrificed.
Oh, dude, I need to hear if they're just using that image just for the sake of it. There's one thing, but if they're legitimately saying what happened to Romanoff,
Now you
freaking.
can probably argue that was it
Gamora?
Peter Quill's mother was fridged right at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy, but not Black Widow and Gamora.
I don't know, bro. It felt like Gamora was only there so that Thanos could,
No, she was only there to make Peter Quill look dumb.
Well, he did
The
a
thing
pretty
is,
good
the
job
character
on
was
his
built
own.
up. Fridging
I mean,
usually happens
technically.
right at the beginning of a story.
Well, let's see what she says, man. I don't want to. Let's not attack her until we know she's going to be saying something dumb. I mean, we know she's going to say
Get us,
something dumb.
Sam.
Give her a chance.
this is how I felt about most of the major character permadeaths in Infinity War and Endgame, especially Gamora and Black Widow. Loki and Vision do die fairly quickly and unceremoniously, primarily to hurt the characters invested in them, but they're given.
That's exactly why they died, yo. But they were men, so it doesn't fucking matter. Moving on. But they're given narrative weight and some dignity in the process.
Narrative weight
Oh,
and
you are
some
so full
dignity
of
in the
shit.
process, it feels unfair and tragic in universe that they couldn't be saved rather than feeling like bad writing. But Gamora, well, it's actually kind of fascinating. In the 2 movies she'd been in, her entire arc had centered on escaping
Okay, it starts with in the 2 fucking movies that she's been in.
She's had no development.
Thanos and his deeply fucked up abusive parenting situation, healing and growing as a person and learning to trust and even love her new friend.
Sounds like a very in-depth arc that she went through here.
Her dynamic
Yeah.
with Nebula was following that same track, realizing they weren't enemies but victims of the same terrible situation and the same manipulative, tortuous narcissist. Thanos' shadow looms large over Gamora's arc as the root cause of all the pain and suffering in her life, and the thing that scares her most that she's constantly fighting to escape. In Infinity War, Thanos is told by Red Skull that in order to get the Soul Stone, he has to sacrifice something he loves. So he kills Gamora, like permanently. She's dead. Now that's bad enough. It's worse.
What's bad about that? What was she doesn't mean like in the writing. I think she just means it's a bad thing to do.
It's
That it
the event
works.
is
Gamora
tragic.
believes
The
that Thanos
writing
is incapable
fine.
of love, and quite frankly, by every indication, she's right.
No. Just because dude, they go out of the way to make sure that you see that he actually does care about her
Yeah, I mean, you
through
saw it
their
a mile off.
interactions.
Like,
Yep. See, this is the thing. If you have to deliberately misrepresent the other side to make a point, you're not making a good point.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
like,
the
I
point
mean,
with
what's she gonna say about freaking Black Widow though? I mean, if her
Mhm.
argument's this quick for that, I mean, Black Widow's been in what, like 10 movies up until then?
Well, so see, that's not her problem with Gamora. It's not about how long she was in the film. Her problem is what I'm want to talk about here is how she's saying that there's no way basically Thanos loved her, but we saw it though. Like from the time she was a little
Yeah.
kid. Remember the time that he spent with her, not any the other kids there, but her.
She's taking shit out of context.
And he forgave
Actually,
her.
I don't
time-
think she's saying that he didn't. I think that she's saying that Gamora didn't see it. So
No, she just said she didn't believe that Thanos loved her, and she should be right. He's a raging narcissist who can't, like, I'm telling you. I'll give it a little bit more,
okay, and she should be right. Okay,
Because
now
I
I get it. Yeah.
maintain that
A
was
raging
Thanos
narcissist who can't see
loved
past his
her,
own chin.
but he loved his mission more.
Well, no, I don't think that's true. No, I think that it was because of that love, right? That he had to do it. Like, because he's looking at it as, the
But so how it's essentially shown is she's the only thing that would ever make him even consider deviating from his mission.
Yeah.
That's how much he loves her.
Yeah. And she just dismisses everything that we saw with her and Thanos. Like, because don't forget, she betrayed Thanos so many times, but he kept letting her back.
That's also not to mention the fact that sometimes characters don't have the full picture about other characters in the story.
Because they're dumb.
And you also must believe
What a
too.
twist.
You also must realize too that Thanos believes he's the hero here. He's on a mission to save the universe. You know, he believes his motive is completely justified and moral.
I mean, even beyond that, he feels that it is bestowed upon him, that it is only up to him. He's the only one that can save the galaxy, which means he will sacrifice everything.
I mean, he's very much for the greater good kind of thinking as well. So, if he has to sacrifice Gamora, so be it.
Yeah,
he's not going to like it, but he'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. So Loki is burdened with a glorious purpose. He's burdened with a duty in his eyes.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Oh, that's a great point, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. If he doesn't sacrifice her, he'll be killing millions.
Oh, more than that.
It's not about
dooming everyone to suffer.
It's not about the killing of the millions. It's saving the other half. That's the thing that he's focusing on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't kill Gamora, he's dooming people to suffer.
Like I can't remember who said it, but they said evil is a point of view.
Well, yeah, all good intentions are. Wait, the road to hell is paved with good intentions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just made that up right now.
Well, that's why it takes forever to get there. I mean, at least even the Romans, they knew to use brick if you're going to pave something.
Right?
Yeah, idiots.
And this should have been the test of character that screwed him over. And also, like, you must kill your loved ones to get this powerful MacGuffin and become strong is like...
hold on, dude.
Okay, so now we're criticizing not the trope, but the what do you call it? The writing mechanics.
Yeah. The MacGuffin, because like there's
the whole point of it. You're supposed to do something that's supposed to tear your soul apart. It's the soul stone. You're supposed to give up part of your soul to be able to take that other part. And the easiest way of doing that is by doing something that you would not normally do. I.e., that's the test.
And by the way, she's gonna be like, oh, it's like baby's first fucking whatever, right? But what's funny though is like, yeah, dude, simple storytelling can have like the most impact depending on the way that it's delivered, right? Just because it's a simple story that you could, like, the hero's journey has been done like to death, you know what I mean? Not even getting into the whole thing with Joseph Campbell, and then there's only like 4 different stories that we've been telling. But the idea that, like, I hate that there's this negative connotation that's been associated with the term MacGuffin, because it's not always a bad thing. A story needs something to you know what I mean, to put it in motion.
No, well, a MacGuffin is something that only exists just to drive the story and has no other narrative purpose.
Right.
Where it's like, oh look, we've now got to go to this island and find the magic orb of so and so, and the only reason to get that is so we can go to this island to find the magic sword of so and so.
Well,
Skywalker. What a mess.
Well, I think that's a more modern definition that everybody's been using in MacGuffin. I think originally it was just like something that triggers the story to happen or whatever. But like, You know what I mean? But it just like didn't come out of nowhere. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't see it always as a bad thing, but let's keep going.
Baby's first obvious secret test of moral character, and it's frankly criminal that killing your loved ones was actually the only way to get the stone. That's just lazy writing. Like,
Why?
It's not lazy if it's set up.
you had the grimdark option, and you had the actually
because she doesn't like it, and what is lazy is she doesn't have a reason why it's wrong. So
Well,
she just calls it lazy.
Well, she says that you had the actually interesting
option, and you picked grimdark because you thought grimdark was automatically more
interesting. Is subjective. Interesting is subjective.
Wait, what was the Wait, did she give what the other option was?
The lazy option, which is the one you got.
Well, no. What was the interesting
character
one?
that screwed him over? And also, like, you must kill your loved ones to get this powerful MacGuffin and become strong is like baby's
Wait, hold on. I think it's a little bit further back where...
Now that's bad enough. It's worse that it works. Gamora believes that Thanos is incapable of love, and quite frankly, by every indication, she's right. He's a raging narcissist who can't see past his own chins, and this should have been the test of character that screwed him over. And also...
Oh, okay. So the interesting one would be for Gamora to defeat him there? Or what?
Did she actually provide an alternative or not?
I guess this is it.
This is the alternative. The alternative is to not happen that way. That's the alternative.
For him not to get it.
But she doesn't actually offer up a coherent solution, though, does she?
That is her solution, though.
I know, but
I guess the story to end there.
More
so,
detail.
like, you must kill your
and one that we could continue with the movie.
Ones to get this powerful MacGuffin and become strong is like baby's first obvious secret test of moral character, and it's frankly criminal that killing your loved ones was actually the only way to get the stone. That's just lazy writing. Like, you had the grimdark option, and you had the actually interesting option, and you picked...
Again, the interesting option was what? Just for the story to end.
Grimdark because you thought Grimdark was automatically more interesting. That's just disappointing. Anyway, but it'd be bad enough if they just undercut Gamora's whole personal arc by saying...
Wait.
Anyway, what?
How did they undercut it?
What was the other option?
The other option was just for him to fail. That's the other option. I'm telling you. That's what she offered.
That wouldn't be lazy. He gets there. Oh, he can't do it. He goes home.
I guess we go home.
Joins T'Challa.
That was the other option. Wait, did she really just say that?
Anyway, but it'd be bad enough.
It undercut Gamora's whole personal arc. How? Cynthia.
No, you know what undercuts her entire personal fucking arc? He's bringing her back from the one from the past. True. That's what undercuts it.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. So, but I think that this is a perfect cap to her arc, though, right? Like, she's been running from this inevitable death from Thanos, and she had this whole journey,
exactly.
And she still ends up there.
I am inevitable. He says that, and literally, she was running from inevitability.
Yeah,
she even had a plan that if something was to catch her, you were supposed to kill me.
Yep.
Like, so she knew that it worked perfectly for her character.
Yeah. But hey, we got a new Gamora.
The only thing I think would be different with the comic book version of it, if she knew that she has to get thrown off the thing to die and he gets it, she would have broken her arm and stuck her broken bone into her neck and killed herself beforehand. That's the only difference between the comic book and...
Wait, did she do that in the comic book?
She would have killed herself before allowing herself to be killed.
Yeah.
Undercut Gamora's whole personal arc by saying that the irredeemably evil overarching supervillain who slaughtered her people and tortured her and Nebula for decades actually truly loved...
He did, motherfucker. Dude, oh man. But I love how she just started...
This one is determined to make Thanos one-dimensional.
Well, dude, because she just went through this whole, like, oh, your first, moral fucking sacrifice, blah, 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 right? Like, it was baby's first book. And here she is, acting as though there is with such a elemental, like a child view of love. Like, the only way Thanos could have shown her love is if he bought her a space pony and took her to space dad and daughter dance.
dude, he gave her a
Doesn't
knife.
she realize
knife.
that by doesn't she realize that by removing Thanos's somewhat twisted version of love, that she's just making Thanos a less believable and less well-rounded villain?
Yeah.
Like, come
It's
on, man.
everything
You're
he's-
making the
everything
character,
he
you're
does
making the
is-
villain one-dimensional. You're just making him. I mean, it just reminds me back to when I was doing Shakespeare in my uni, right? They basically said there was an example in The Winter's Tale where we were deconstructing that, and essentially we all agreed that one of the characters, I can't remember his name, don't ask me,
Colin
was
Farrell.
essentially an arsehole for the sake of being an arsehole. And we all agreed pretty much then and there that that was not a good thing for a character to be that one-dimensional. Generally speaking, people need reasons and motivations and so on, right? By removing Thanos's love for Gamora, however twisted that may be,
Yeah.
you are effectively removing a motivation from him. You are essentially making him an arsehole or a villain for the sake of being a villain. You are making him flat as a tack.
You could argue that everything, like Thanos is motivated almost like entirely by love.
Yes, in
Not
a
only-
weird sort of twisted
way,
I'm
not saying in a good way. Like, I mean, he's my hero, but like to most people, like it is his, like, he saw what happened to his planet and he loved his planet, he loved his people. And that love is like, I don't want it to happen to others.
And then of course there was that line from, I think it was The Fall, like, even in the mind of a crazy person, everything they do makes sense. Right? And it's the same thing with Thanos. Everything in his mind makes sense. And we need to know, as the audience, we need to know exactly how it makes sense, even for him. Even if it doesn't make sense to us, we need to see how it makes sense to him.
And we got that with his planet being destroyed, and then with Gamora, like him coming across her, and she's just so cute because he's so small and green.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man.
Loved her all along, it crosses the line twice by having him prove that he loved her by murdering her. Gamora's
no, dum-dum. No. No, okay. The point of, all right, to get the skull, he didn't have to prove that he loved her. He had to kill something that he loved. He wasn't trying to prove that he loved her to anyone. That wasn't it.
But ironically, his actions did prove that. Though she would never know that.
Yeah, because he actually got the stone, didn't he?
He got the stone, so it had to
so
be true.
Obviously, if he hadn't killed someone he loved, he wouldn't have gotten the stone.
Okay, I think I get a point. She's saying that Thanos would never love anyone, and the only reason why they concocted this entire thing was just purely and simply to kill Gamora off.
Wait, what?
That's what she's saying.
Hold on.
People like Gail Simone don't human very well.
All right, let's do this.
Prove that he loved her by murdering her. Gamora's entire arc and place in the narrative is undercut and sacrificed to give Thanos a character trait that makes no sense for him and to make Star-Lord sad so he acts dumb in the finale.
Wow. Dude, no, dude. He doesn't act... Oh, my God. He acted dumb because, one, he's dumb. Two, because he loved her. Like, what the fuck? Oh, man.
Oh, and to make Thanos sad, which is given more focus and weight than Star-Lord being sad. Because
he is the main focus of that movie. Infinity War is far more about him than it is the Avengers or anyone else.
Star-Lord is just a minor character by comparison.
Yeah.
Thanos is the big bad villain. He is the big bad. He is way more significant.
Dude, because obviously making the pure evil villain, he was not pure evil, dude.
Yeah. You can't have characters be arseholes for the sake of being arseholes.
Just because you can't understand the complexity of his character and haven't experienced enough of life to know that it's messy. Like,
if he was pure evil, it would be like Thanos is this unstoppable thing that's just going around and killing. There would be no dialogue
Yeah.
about why he's doing it. There'd be no reasons or
Right.
anything like that.
He
That would
would have
be
taken
pure-
whatsoever.
he would have taken the form of a cloud, like the other movies that couldn't come up with a good character arc
That's
for a
exactly
villain.
right. Yeah. I mean, clouds are fucking scary. Have you
Oh,
seen those
man,
fucking
dude.
Nimbus
Oh, my
ones?
gosh.
Jesus Christ!
See
the
the-
fuck
oh,
are they?
you say
Why do they look like fish?
Oh, like the yellow one and Green Lantern. What was that? Polyox? Whatever. Scary.
Pure evil villain kind of
Holy
bummed
ducks,
out was
fucking
worth the
hell.
cost of one of Marvel's most interesting heroines. Like, I see what they were going
See,
for,
calling
but
Thanos
it
pure
didn't
evil
work well.
is a
Prove that he loved
misinterpretation. A
Oh, yeah.
deliberate
her by
misinterpretation.
murdering her. Gamora's entire arc and place in the narrative is undercut and sacrificed to give Thanos a character trait that makes no sense for him, and to make Star-Lord sad so he acts dumb in the finale.
God.
And to make Thanos sad, which is given more focus and weight than Star-Lord being sad.
Yes, because God
obviously
forbid our
making
villains be
the pure evil
multidimensional
villain
and
kind of bummed
multi-layered.
out was worth the cost of one of Marvel's most interesting heroines. Like, I see what they were going for, but it
Most
didn't
interesting,
work
really?
well.
Wait, wait. I don't think C does see was what they were going for, because C has not told us.
It was a bad idea, and it completely undercut everything Gamora had in the previous movies,
The
which is very
ending.
disappointing.
Okay, see, she's judging everything by its ending, which I hate that mental look, because they'll look at a fruit bowl and go, "Oh man, look at that apple core," when it's an apple. Like, it's just because the way at which a character ends doesn't mean that dictates everything that happens. She had a tragic life, and she
Yeah.
had a tragic death. That
Well,
was
don't
that was her arc. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, what did she do? She found family that actually wanted her. She
Yeah.
found love. She found she was the one thing that she'd never been before. She was happy, but that doesn't matter because she got thrown off by a cliff by a man.
Yeah, you heard it first, everybody. Tragedy
Fucking
is not
men.
allowed.
Well, not. I think some of it may have to do with like the idea that I guarantee if you ask her, she's going to be all for the equality of outcome. You know what I mean? Because he looks at the ending, right? Like, it's not fair how it ended, so
What,
that
she
makes
wants-
everything
she-
that happened.
She wants more men to die proportionately, or what is she looking at? The numbers here, like, are too many women dead in this particular iteration? Because I don't know about you, but I haven't counted.
Well, I mean, she doesn't understand about how, like, you can live long but live like little. But
Yeah, you can be alive but not live.
yeah, like, all right.
Meanwhile,
burn
Black
out
Widow's
and
death
fade
is
away.
similar
Oh,
to
we're about to talk. We're moving on to Black Widow, guys. He explained everything to you about this one.
I just have to
Gamora's, but is bad for
comment on something Kai said. People expect full arcs and resolutions, but life isn't like that. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Some people die before they complete their arc. It's like or life's work. Exactly. Shit happens. And,
But it's worse if it happens to a woman.
If you write it well, you can actually remark on this sense of anticlimax. Right? If you're a good writer, you will actually remark on this sense of anticlimax. Point out how anticlimactic and unfair it is. And therefore, you'll notice it can be seen as deliberate, not something.
You know what's a great example of that is Country for Old Men,
Mm.
right? So we follow Josh, what's his name? Thanos.
Josh Brolin.
Brolin. Yeah. Following the whole movie, right? And we're expecting him to have at least a chance, like a shootout or whatever, and we get to see it, right? What do we see? He's just there dead at the hotel. We didn't get the shootout. We didn't get any closure with him. Nothing. He's just dead. Why? Because that's fucking life, bro. Time to move on.
And you know what? I would argue in a weird kind of way, anticlimax is a valid audience response.
Anticlimax is one of the most
if you know what
powerful
you're
things that
doing.
you can do to a story.
Mm.
But it has to be done. It has to be done right. Sorry, I did not hear anything. Did you say No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men. Yeah.
Sorry, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Of an anticlimax, and I mean it must be good. It won Best Picture.
It was amazing. I rewatched it like a couple weeks ago. Fuck, is it good?
Dude, every time I see an Eastern European and he's got a coin, I just walk the other way. I just don't want to take a risk.
Even
I
his
definitely wouldn't
character,
call him
like,
friendo.
but that was just a theme, like, through the whole, like, for the whole movie, like, even with Crazy Dude, right? Like, he gets in a wreck at the very end and just kind of like walks away, and no one has what you would call the like the average ending. You know what I mean? Like that.
Woody Harrelson had the
Yeah.
best arc in it.
The cathartic ending.
Yeah, it's
No
just
one
like
has it.
no one
And
is
that
completed.
can be, as I said, that can be a deliberate artistic choice.
Yeah, and it
That's
was.
perfectly fine. You can actually work with a sense of anticlimax. You can leave the audience feeling anticlimactic, and that's fine. If that's if that's what you're aiming for, if that's what you want to do it.
So an example of a different way of going about it is Liam Neeson's movie. What is it?
The Gray.
The Gray. Oh God, I love that movie. So The Gray, like, you actually do get that time in each death, right? And and every death is meaningful and impactful, right? But once that's done, they keep moving, and the only thing that's left of them is their IDs, right? But that didn't make their deaths any less significant or haunting. Like, the dude that had the daughter with the long hair, and he talked about how, like, she would wake him up by, like, brushing his face with her hair or whatever.
Oh yeah,
And
that was grim.
oh, and he's there being eaten, and that is what, like, he's envisioning or whatever, right? It's haunting, right?
Exactly.
That
It's
sticks with you.
horrifying.
It doesn't stick with any of the other characters.
No.
Because they're all dead by the end of it. But it sticks with us, though. So that death meant very little to Liam Neeson's character. Very little. But I feel like it means a lot to other people.
And he was close
It
to
means a
being
lot to the
fridged
audience.
because he was freezing because of how cold it was.
Different reasons.
All right, let's see
Because
what she's
unlike
gonna say here.
Gamora, who had too much character weight and potential to warrant her unceremonious death,
No, dude, no. Just because you have potential does not mean you get to escape death. If so, then fucking Sean Bean or whatever would have survived all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones.
And every other project he's ever
I was
been
about to
on.
say.
You want to talk about unceremonious? Ned Stark is an unceremonious.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I couldn't remember Ned Stark though. Like, no, he was the character that had potential. Like, he was not only just the focus of the show, but like he was really good in it. You know what I mean? People were invested in him.
People gave a shit.
Hey, Ref Girl, see you later. All right, let's see what she has now.
Sorry to interrupt,
See you
Matt,
later.
but I'm flagging on my end. I'm gonna have to drop out.
Okay.
Shit, it's 9:42. Shit, I
Yeah,
just
it's-
realized that.
It's
Oh
late
shit!
on our end.
Hey, we can stop it there, man. Since we did Gamora, we'll come back and we'll do Black Widow if you guys want to next time.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
sounds great.
Please.
I've always wanted someone to say, "Come back and we'll do Black Widow."
All right.
Very
Hey,
nice.
everybody! Thanks for being here. Sorry if I didn't have a chance to respond. I got to figure out a way to get both windows going so that way I can keep an eye on the chat and also work the video or get a press play guy. What's Yeti when you need him? Anyway, but thanks for hanging out. And you guys got anything?
Cheerio, everyone.
Check out Sam and
check
Nick's
out
new video.
our channel. We've got 2 new videos up that are needing love. So yeah, that's
So we're
Nick and
fridging
Sam
Black
McCabe.
Widow. Yeah, we're gonna fridge Black Widow, but we'll bring her back.
Oh, where did he go?
This is a prime example of Mad fridging himself. So if you want to see a more meta version of fridging,
And I'm back.
that was the example that he deliberately meant to do.
You all right there, Matt?
I hit I got the button on my mouse that's acts as like the back button, and I accidentally press it sometimes.
Yeah, so yeah, we're fridging Black Widow, and then you did the demonstration of how to fridge yourself.
Dude, rewatching it, I rewatched like last year or whatever. I did not care for how she treated Jon Snow. He did not deserve it. He did nothing wrong. He was a baby.
Oh yeah, she's an
Yeah.
absolute
Oh
bitch.
my God.
Yeah, she's an absolute bitch. But I'll just point this out though. that in Westeros, bastardy carries a lot of stigma. So
Yeah, but like,
It's like, that's right, your puss wasn't good enough. He went somewhere else. Oh, stanky puss of Westeros.
and not
all
to
right,
mention that the whole people of the North are supposed to be very noble. So again, the fact that
Which
Ned
is weird, because
Stark
if I think
allegedly
Northern England, I don't
strayed
think of
is even
no
more insulting.
nobility.
Hey, Sam. After your little woo woo thing, we've had enough. Okay, we know what you mean by noble. You mean white.
Yes, he does. That's right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, what?
What?
Okay, it's definitely getting late because I'm confused. Can you say that again?
Oh, it was a joke. Because didn't you do the woo woo thing earlier?
Oh, the woo woo non-scientific Chinese medicine
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, enough with your racism, because we know what you mean by noble is white.
Oh, shut up.
It was good. Deserve more. All right, guys. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
My Rhinosaur video will be coming out soon. I'm going to go put the finishing touches on that.
Rawr.
Yep. A lot of penises.
Listen now, Mr. Kansas Law Dog. Law don't go around here.
Well,
Sammy?
not a lot. There's two. Not on the same rhino. There's one penis on each of the two rhinos that we see their penis. For the record.
They're not crossing swords or anything, are they?
I want you to know it's
What a hell of a way to end a stream talking about rhinos with diphallia.
Oh, is
What
that
did
the
you
technical
call
term?
it?
Diphallia.
I thought it was called.
Wait,
I thought it was
I
called
forgot they had that thing.
Diphallia.
Nobody look at us. Don't look at us. Look away. Look away.